Hello and welcome to the Kessel Rundown podcast. My name is Hunter.
I'm Ethan.
And Ethan, I'm very excited about tonight's episode. Are you?
I am. It's been a weird week just trying to keep up with whatever Disney's doing. They're dropping cryptic hints about what Clone Wars arcs to watch, and
And we did
it's
watch them,
crazy.
by the way. All but one,
We
but
did
the
watch,
last
of
one we already
course.
know about, so we don't really need to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, good refresher.
Season 5 and on, we don't even need to refresh in the last 3 seasons. Those things live in our heads. So.
Yeah, the last 4 episodes of season 7 are constantly replaying in my head. I don't know about you, but
Oh, for sure. Sometimes they come with tears.
yeah, I'm the same way. Well, we have a lot to talk about today. Star Wars Celebration is in 2 days at the time we're recording right now. Starts on Thursday morning. The main panel does, and then Kenobi premieres later that night. So it's a full day for us.
Yeah, so that's Friday, correct? Today's Tuesday. That's Thursday. That starts.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 8 hours of celebration, and then they're ending by having Kenobi come on at 3 a.m. or whatever.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
It's gonna be a long day.
Yeah, on Thursday, unfortunately, I have to go into work. So what I'm doing is I'm watching the opening celebration, and then I go into work. And then when I get back, I plan on watching all the panels that I missed out on, and hopefully by watching all of those, Kenobi will be like at 15 minutes away for me because I don't know how many hours all the panels will be, but I wanna make sure I watch all of them so I catch everything to make it just. They might drop a little
Right.
hints of something that wouldn't normally be in there. I just want to see. But yeah, we can start talking about the Obi-Wan Kenobi arcs that Disney Plus tweeted out. The official Disney Plus Twitter tweeted out a little timeline of what to watch leading up to Kenobi. So starting on Friday, May 20th and onwards, we start with The Phantom Menace. The next day is Attack of the Clones. On Sunday, May 22nd, you were supposed to watch the Clone Wars movie. I didn't. I don't want to watch that garbage. Just kidding. It's funny. It's an okay movie.
I've never seen the Clone Wars movie.
You do not need to. The only thing you need to see is Anakin meeting Ahsoka, and then boom, you're good. Then on Monday, May 23rd, we were supposed to watch the Clone Wars Season 2, Episodes 12 through 16, which Ethan did watch and we'll talk about soon. Yep. Tuesday, May 24th, which was the day we are recording this, we were supposed to watch the Clone Wars Season 4, Episode 15 through 18, which I watched just a few hours ago, so it's fresh in my mind. Man, those are some really good episodes. Tomorrow, you're supposed to watch the Clone Wars Season 5, Episode 14 through 16. We did not watch those, but like we said earlier, we pretty much know everything what happens. The next day, Revenge of the Sith, and then on Friday, the 27th of May, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
What would it be like to watch Revenge of the Sith and do a podcast after, I wonder?
You would just hear blabbering for hours, like the unreleased podcast, unfortunately, that will never see the light of day.
Yeah.
It's a tragedy.
Yeah, I'm excited to jump into these arcs that were recommended. What's funny, if we can just talk about Season 5 arc that we didn't watch, the episode before is when R2-D2 and the little midget guy and all of them go to that void world.
Oh,
and they're in this like the orange world for like 2 episodes. That is quite possibly the worst episode of Clone Wars.
Really?
So
you don't like the droid episodes?
In my opinion. No, I hate the droid episodes so much. To follow that up with 14, 15, 16 of Season 5, which are some of the best. It's kind of the Darth Maul Mandalore arcs. That's strong showing from Filoni for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely putting trust in the fans to like stick through. But yeah, we can start talking about your Season 2, Episode 12 through 16, which you caught a little summary of what went down, because I don't really remember what happened, if you want to tell the audience and me, by the way.
Yeah. So, um, well, this is when we're introduced to Duchess Satine of Mandalore. I believe this is the first time Clone Wars has gone to Mandalore. Um, I don't think it was in any previous canon. Maybe some comics, but um, we get to see this world, which is beautiful, but it's kind of um, there's a lot of anxiety on the world. That as soon as you arrive in the first episode, it's Obi-Wan sent there on a peacekeeping mission. We love that term. Um, and he's there to talk to Duchess Satine. It's clear they know each other. Um, and the sexual tension just jumps off the screen for like the entire episode. They're like bickering, but like smiling at each other. And like at one point, she strokes his beard. It's so like obvious that they're an item, or they used to be. And Anakin is basically like grinning in the background the whole time, like ha ha ha, like Obi-Wan, you you spitting game right now, bro. That's basically the entire episode. But on the more serious side of it, Mandalore basically has recovered from the civil war that they had, I guess, 20, 30 years prior. Um, and Satine is the leader, and she's like a staunch pacifist because she wants to keep her people, from re-engaging in civil war. And so she leads the neutral systems, and the neutral systems, I think, is 1,500 worlds that are neither separatists nor allied with the Republic. So they don't take part in the Senate. Well, I guess they do take part in the Senate, but they're not, part of the two main parties that are fighting. So they don't really have a say in the Senate. Kind of like how America has the third party, so they don't really get much done. So a lot of the arc is about Satine trying to make the Republic understand that they don't want war. They don't want an occupation because Palpatine, obviously for other reasons, is trying to occupy Mandalore, um, and pose it as like a good thing. And Obi-Wan thinks it's a good thing too. All the Jedi think that more conflict is good, more troops on the ground is good. And so in the middle of all this, hovering over all these episodes, is Death Watch, which is basically like a sect of Mandalorians that keep to the old ways, as we'll see in the TV show later, right?
This is the way.
Yeah, this is the way. But they're like really extreme. They don't really have a lot of moral code. They just love violence.
Yeah.
And their leader, who is Pre Vizsla? Paz Vizsla. Pre Vizsla. Yeah,
Paz is the big one in the Mandalorian, the big dude.
Yes, and okay, yeah. Pre Vizsla has the dark saber, which he claims one of his ancestors had gotten from the ruined Jedi temple in the Old Republic. And he fights Obi-Wan with it at one point. But basically, the whole arc is Satine is trying to escape. Well, the whole first two episodes of the arc is Satine trying to escape assassination attempts, Obi-Wan getting to show how much he loves her by rescuing her, and then Satine making just really sharp comments about the nature of the Jedi and why the Jedi are hypocrites. And it's just the first two episodes were incredible. The rest of the arc is kind of disconnected. We can talk about some speculation later about how, like, why Disney wanted us to watch them.
Yeah, I wondered about that too because I was looking at the episode list and I saw that like after like 14, it kind of goes off on its own thing. Like after episode 14, it's not really connected to Mandalore or Satine or anything, I was wondering why they would do that. Is it purposeful? Or is there something in Kenobi that we might see about that stuff?
Yeah, I would say that one of the main points of those episodes, besides, so the first two episodes of the arc were like centered around Obi-Wan and Satine, and but there's this really overarching, all the Clone Wars series is about Anakin ultimately, how he made his way from precocious Padawan to, evil Lord Vader, right?
Yeah.
And it fleshes out Revenge of the Sith in a way that I think is incredible. Um, but this particular arc was kind of first times you see Anakin really not enjoying violence necessarily, but like just shrugging it off.
Yeah.
And Satine makes a lot of comments about how much Jedi are okay with violence, and it really makes you think like, man, he's kind of cold blooded.
Yeah, he grew up in it and he's desensitized to it. He can just. Is this the episode where he kills that Senate guard, or is that
It's
another
not a
episode?
Senate guard. It's a senator. He kills a
Senator? Yes, yes.
the senator like allies with Death Watch
Mhm.
to try and get Satine assassinated, and there's this moment when Satine is pointing a gun at the senator, and Obi-Wan has his lightsaber held up to the senator, but the senator knows, okay, Obi-Wan doesn't want to kill me because then Satine will hate him for not being a pacifist.
Yeah.
Satine's not going to kill me because she's a pacifist. So he's like thinking he's going to get away, and he's like, which one of you will become a cold-blooded killer? And then from behind,
The
Anakin
blue
just
blade
like
just.
stabs him in the
Yeah.
back. Through the blade comes through his chest, and then Vader's theme plays like really subtly, and it's so good.
I remember that. I
So
still see clips of
yeah,
that on on Twitter or something. Just whenever people are talking about Anakin, that clip is always brought up, and it's so good every time I watch it.
in Clone Wars, those are the times, and you're like, man, this show is technically for kids, but also
It's not a
not
kid show.
for kids.
It is not a kid show.
There was one point in the first episode where one of the Death Watch followers tried to kill Satine, and then Obi-Wan chases him, and he stood on this like precipice and just fell off, committed suicide by jumping, and it like showed it.
Yeah.
It showed him hit the ground. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is not for children. But so I think obviously this can be a character development for Obi-Wan, because he's getting to, it's showing his love for Satine, which we'll talk about later in the season 4 and 5 arcs. But it's also showing Anakin's quick fall, into, like you said, being desensitized to violence, and how Obi-Wan feels about it. Obi-Wan's always disappointed in him, but he always understands that's the mission.
Yeah.
And they always come back as heroes, right? Even if what they do is a little sketch.
That's true. And this might be the first moment where Obi-Wan realizes that he's losing his Padawan.
Yeah.
That wasn't a very Jedi thing to do of you. That was very Sith of you, if I might say so.
Yeah. And that brings me to, I guess, the last episode of the arc, which is totally disconnected from Mandalore, but this is why I think it's more about Anakin than it is about Satine. Anakin is battling Admiral Trench, who the big spider guy. And he just is using brutal tactics and disobeying Obi-Wan at every turn. Obi-Wan basically orders him like flat out, because they're on different ships. He orders him flat out to not engage, and Anakin literally hung up the phone. he just disconnected. He was like, "Oops," and disconnected the hologram call, whatever, and proceeded to fight. And he won. And Obi-Wan was like, "Great, good job, but like, don't ever do that again." And all of the people around Anakin were kind of shocked that he was willing to go to those lengths to win a fight. And I think it just shows his evil nature. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or at least his ruthlessness, I guess.
Yeah, and like how he's not afraid to use his dark side when he has to. We see that a lot, of course, in these next few arcs, going on to season 4, episode 15 through 18. This is the arc when Dooku hires a bounty hunter by the name of Maralo Ival. That's how he says his name, and it's funny every time. So Maralo Ival then hires other bounty hunters to help him kidnap Chancellor Palpatine whenever he's on Naboo, delivering a speech at one of their Naboo festivals. I think it's the Festival of Light. I can't remember, but it's like Naboo's Independence Day. It's their July 4th. It's their celebration when they celebrate joining the Republic. But anyways, so Moralo Val kind of gets captured before he can recruit any of these bounty hunters, and the council, the Jedi Council, gets word of this that there's a plot to capture Palpatine. So the only logical thing to do is to hire a bounty hunter to kill Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's what I would do. So they hire a bounty hunter to shoot Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan does get shot. He's given this like pill or whatever to make it seem like he's dead. So everyone believes he's dead except the Jedi Council. Even Anakin's in the dark about this. This is where the big divide between Obi-Wan and Anakin first starts, in my opinion. The Council has been lying to Anakin. This gives new meaning to episode 3. Really, it shows like this is the first time the Council has like left Anakin in the dark, and this is not just some rash decision for him in episode 3. This is the buildup of years and years of being gaslighted by the Council. But gaslit, there you go, gaslit. Yeah, it's late. um but yeah, Obi-Wan goes undercover.
It is gaslight.
Gaslitted. Obi-Wan goes undercover as a bounty hunter, and he meets Cad Bane, and they break Moralo Val out of prison. And they eventually they make it to Nalhutta, where and they get a new ship. They fight Anakin. Anakin kind of realizes that, oh, this is Obi-Wan. This isn't a random bounty hunter, and Obi-Wan's alive. So Anakin goes on with the plan, but he's still angry with the Council. And he's also angry with Obi-Wan as well, because, why wouldn't he be? Eventually, they make it to Count Dooku, Cad Bane, Moralo Val, and Obi-Wan, and they're sent on a test to prove their craftsmanship and their skills. And Obi-Wan, along with 10 other bounty hunters, are put in this box. And this box, it gives them like life or death situations, and they have to escape the box to prove that they're worthy. And of course, a lot of them die except Obi-Wan, Cad Bane, Moralo, and all the other big players. And then they're sent to capture Palpatine, and of course, it fails. Dooku goes there to ensure, like, I need to capture this dude, and it ends up not working. But at the end of the day, I think they included this arc to watch because it just shows the growing divide between Anakin and Obi-Wan. And I wrote down a few quotes from the episode, actually. So Anakin, he's talking with Obi-Wan. It's getting pretty heated, and he asks Obi-Wan, how many other lies have been told by the Council? And that gives new meaning to episode 3. Like I said, it just builds the divide between Obi-Wan and Anakin, and it gets Anakin on the Chancellor's side more and more as they become more buddy with themselves. Yeah, that's basically the arc. Just one last thing I wanted to say that I caught, which I thought was it gave me chills the first time that I heard it. I had to replay it because it was just insane. So Anakin is talking with Chancellor Palpatine, and Anakin says to him, "As long as I live, no harm will ever come to you, Your Excellency." And Palpatine responds, "Here's to your long and prosperous life, Anakin." And just for what comes in the future and what like Palpatine had in store for Anakin, it's chilling. Like that's such an evil thing to say. It's terrible. Oh, and also, by the way, if it sounds like my house is falling apart around me, it's because it is. I'm in the middle of like a severe thunderstorm right now, so if you hear loud drums, it's not. It's we didn't get in a celebration early. It's nature trying to kill me. But yeah, that was my review of that arc. The next arc is just about Maul putting together this crime syndicate, not Crimson Dawn just yet, but it's just a crime syndicate in order to take over Mandalore, which he does. He doesn't install himself as leader. He gives like what do you call those? Like a shadow leader, a shadow puppet to lead Mandalore.
Yeah.
And
and it's Pre Vizsla, right?
It's no, he actually kills Pre Vizsla. It's a I forget his name, but he gets killed in season 7 whenever the siege of Mandalore happens. But Maul is in charge of Mandalore, and he ends up using the darksaber to kill Satine in front of Obi-Wan, and that's just adding trauma to Obi-Wan. It's some much needed background trauma that we need to know about before heading on into Obi-Wan Kenobi. Because, like I was telling Ethan earlier, Satine is in 2 of these arcs, so you can probably expect a flashback of Satine in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, for sure. And I wonder who's going to play her.
Yeah, I would not know about that, but
Thinking Kate Blanchett would probably fit the
maybe
animated.
I can see that.
What she looks like in the animated.
Yeah, I can see
But
that.
I had one. I only really had one quote. Satine constantly is calling out like the hypocrisy of the Jedi. At one point, she's like, you're supposed to be peacekeepers. There was a time when Jedi were actually peacekeepers. They didn't draw their weapons, which we might see in the Acolyte series. And Obi-Wan said something about like, well, to keep the peace, you have to have firm offense or something like that. And it was just so backward. But there was one quote when she said, "Is reality what makes a Jedi abandon his ideals, or is it more a matter of political convenience?"
Ooh.
And Obi-Wan just had like no answer.
I wouldn't either.
He was like, and cut to next scene. I don't know how to answer that. Yeah, and everyone calls her an idealist the whole time, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But
well,
I really enjoyed her character more than I remembered.
Yeah, she's a really well-written character. But all I can say is that Satine and Hermit Luke would probably be best friends. Their view of the Jedi are pretty much the same.
Old Luke. He'd be friends with a lot of people.
Oh yeah, I'd be best friends with old Luke. Well, let's stop talking about old Luke. Let's get on to some Lego Star Wars set leaks, which I'm very excited about. So Lego, they release their Star Wars sets kind of like sporadically throughout the year. The next set coming up on June 1st is Mandalorians in One Starfighter. It comes with, I believe, the Mandalorian, of course, Grogu, Pelimoto, which is her first Lego figure. I'm so excited to have that. And then
I can't stand that one.
And then a little BD droid, which is fun. It's the first BD droid in Lego. So we do have a lot of unconfirmed sets for June and for the rest of the year. And I was assuming, during Celebration, there's a Lego panel during Celebration that it would be revealed. But it looks like these sets have been leaked a little bit before Celebration. They don't have any titles to them, but the first set is of Obi-Wan and his Jedi Starfighter on Kamino. You have a Tonwi. Is it
Tonwi?
Dad, Tonwi's here. Is it R? Yeah, R4 and Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan has his Episode 2 hair, and it looks like a really cool set. It's just a Starfighter, and it's nothing special. Going on to the next set, though, is something that we haven't seen before. The packaging is also different. In the bottom left-hand corner, it has a hooded Obi-Wan fighting Darth Vader, possibly a scene that we'll see in Kenobi. But this set is of the Sith Inquisitor shuttle. I don't believe we have a name for it yet, and it includes 4 figures: Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Grand Inquisitor, Reva, and the 5th brother. And Obi-Wan has new hair, he has longer hair, and a poncho as well. And the Inquisitors also have a really cool Inquisitor-style lightsaber blade. And I would probably assume that this set is going to go for $120, and then the shuttle, Obi-Wan's little Jedi fighter, will probably go for around $50 to $60. Those are my guesses. If I get it on the nose, then I deserve a pat on the back. But yeah, it's
What are you gonna get? A free Lego set?
Yeah, could you actually buy me one of these? And I would be forever in your debt. I would love. I would love to get one of these. I'm probably gonna buy them day one. I still am having trouble getting one of the new Lego sets that came out just recently. It's a Republic battle tank with Mace Windu and Mace Windu's clone troopers.
Boo!
I know,
Sorry.
I know, but it's such a
Instinct.
sick set. It's such a cool set, but it's on back order, and I believe the earliest I can get that set is at the beginning of August. Just so many people want it because there's so many cool clone troopers in it. Nobody wants Mace Windu. I'll throw the figure out.
So many people that love Mace Windu.
God, they're sheep. That's what they are. They're Mace Windu sheep. Well,
I can we just talk about Lego's continuing legacy of spoiling things?
Oh yes.
I remember. Okay, so I think I've talked about it early on in the podcast, but when Fantastic Beasts 2 came out, which that movie franchise was so big in like 4 years ago when the second movie came out. Now it's just, I think they're gonna cancel the series.
I didn't even watch the third one.
I didn't either. That shows how important it is. Considering we were like peeing ourselves to go see the second one together, and we didn't even. I haven't watched any of them since they were in theater.
I fell asleep during the second movie.
Anyways, yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, before Crimes of Grindelwald came out, the second Fantastic Beasts movie, Lego put out a set because the first movie ended with Grindelwald in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Lego put out a set prior to the release of the second film that was literally titled Grindelwald's Escape, and it was like a broken jail cell, and it spoiled the whole first half of the movie, which was him breaking out of prison, and it was so funny, and everyone just got a kick out of it. And I don't think this is necessarily a spoiler, because we can talk about the possibility of that just being a throw you off the scent Kaminoan thing. Like, I don't know if he's going back to Kamino. That may just be from Attack of the Clones, but because Tom Way was in that scene.
Yeah.
But the fight with Vader certainly looks like it's recent.
Oh yeah.
Just looking at Kenobi's facial hair and look, you know.
Yeah, that looks new.
And that, I mean, we knew that they were going to meet. That was the leak that we had talked about last episode, where we were like, we're not going to talk about the leak, but there's one leak that we know is true, which is that they're going to meet, or that they're going to, that they will be fighting at one point, right? Wasn't that what it was?
Yeah, they'll.
That's
the leak was, if you don't want to hear this, just skip ahead a little bit. The leak was that Obi-Wan and Vader would fight twice in the show.
Yeah, that's kind of obvious. I mean, we kind of know, like, they're not going to put Vader in this show if he doesn't fight the titular character.
Yeah.
Like, that was not as much of a surprise to me. So we'll see how that goes. I'm thinking one's going to be really brief and one's going to be epic, but I just think it's funny that Lego kind of agreed with the leakers and just came out there and said, screw it.
Yeah, and what you were saying about, I don't know if you're looking at the image right now, but of Obi-Wan and Vader fighting, you can faintly see Vader's visor, and he has red eyes like he had in Rogue One. So, I mean, to me, that says that this is going to take place in that time period, in that era. So this isn't like a flashback. This isn't like, just like, oh, it's Obi-Wan fighting Vader on the Death Star. Like, this is new stuff.
Oh, and the rest of the pack is like young
Obi-Wan
Kenobi, the Grand Inquisitor,
true,
Reva, and the fifth brother. That's definitely this timeline.
Yeah,
and the big ship is like the Inquisitor.
Well, if there was any doubt, there shouldn't be.
Yeah,
there shouldn't be.
And the I'm looking. I hadn't looked at the Kamino one. The Kamino one looks awesome.
It looks amazing. I'm just wondering how big that ship is, because on the box it looks fairly long, and I'm looking at my shelf space right now, and I'm getting kind of scared.
It says 282 pieces. I don't think it's gonna be that big.
Yeah. For the Inquisitor ship, though, I don't know where I'm gonna put that. I have my Lego Millennium Falcon, basically sitting on the ground, because I don't have anywhere to put that huge thing, and that was an investment. I'll tell you that.
Massive.
Yeah, that thing is huge.
You have the one that unfolds, right?
Yes. So I have the cheapest big Millennium Falcon. I bought this one came out whenever The Rise of Skywalker was coming out. It has for some reason it has Bulio, the horned creature at the beginning of episode 9, who says like win that war to Finn and Poe. It has him that Kylo Ren decapitates. It has who else does it have? It has C-3PO, R2D2, Finn, and Lando Calrissian, I believe. It's just a weird mix.
Lando.
Yeah, like old Lando. It's just weird.
Huh.
Yeah, I
Yeah, who wouldn't want old Billy D. Williams? In a
exactly.
Lego pack?
I think that's his only the only appearance of old Lando and Lego. But I mean, I could never get tired of talking about Legos, but we got to save some for the Lego panel at Celebration. So let's move on to some new Acolyte news. It's not new. It's kind of like a revision of last week when I said we don't really know anything about it. I was lying. I didn't know I was lying at the time, but I was. So we have one confirmed actress for the role. It's Amanda Steinberg, and does that ring any bells to you? It should. Without looking her up, does that ring any bells to you?
No, but I'm about to look her up. So
Yeah, she played Rue in the Hunger Games.
Oh,
Yeah, so
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. to the goat. So just she's the only person credited in Acolyte right now. So I mean that doesn't confirm that she plays the main character, like the said Acolyte, but it pretty much does. I bet she's gonna be the main character in this show, and that has me very excited because she's a very good actress.
Oh, I didn't realize she's been in all these movies. She was in Everything, which I didn't watch, but I saw the trailer a bunch of times. It was one of those like weird high school love story movies where like one of the guys is paralyzed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then she was in The Hate You Give, which I've heard is a great book. I never saw the movie or read the book. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it, honestly.
Oh, she was in Rio too. Don't forget that.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, can't forget that one.
And I don't forget about that one. So yeah, just some short news about Acolyte.
Dear Evan Hansen?
She was in Dear Evan Hansen?
That. Yeah, the movie.
Oh, I guess she was. I just know I haven't seen it. I just know the memes from that movie, and they're so funny. Just of old Ben Platt playing the main character is so funny. They casted a 30-year-old to play a high schooler, and all of his scenes are completely disgusting. It looks like they poured makeup on a aging man and said, "Wear the hippest clothes in high school." You know that meme?
How do you do, fellow kids?
Yeah, that meme. How do you do, fellow kids? That's what I was just about to say. Yeah, it looks just like that. Yeah. Just some short Acolyte news. Going on to some more short news. We have Andor. So Tony Gilroy, one of the showrunners for Andor, was during an interview. He was asked if we would see K2SO, the Alan Tudyk, the droid he played in Rogue One, and this is his response. He said, "For instance, don't expect Alan Tudyk's blunt-speaking droid K2SO. We don't have Alan Tudyk," Gilroy confirms. "Not yet, anyway. But fear not. Prep for a second season is already underway, and the story of how Cassian Andor met the former Imperial battle droid may be told then in the second season. It is a second season, but it really, for me, is the second half of a novel," Gilroy says. "The first season is about him becoming a revolutionary, and the second 12 episodes take him into Rogue One. This pretty much confirms that Andor is 2 seasons. They shortened it down a little bit, which I'm okay with. But if he says,
I thought they had shortened it to 3.
Yeah, but right now he's saying that that the second season is the second half of a novel. So it shows
there's only 2 halves.
Yeah, there's only 2 halves of a novel. So
you're talking are you quoting from the Vanity Fair story that came out today?
I didn't come out today. It came out May 23rd, I believe.
That was yesterday. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of like a follow-up to the big one from the other day. Hold on, now it's telling me I have no more free articles in Vanity Fair. What the
And
heck?
capitalism.
Yeah. But basically, it was kind of like a get ready. You don't know what you're getting into. Like that was what they were saying in the story. Like I think the exact quote was, "It's gonna everything you knew about the rebellion is wrong," or something like that. That's like the tagline for the show, which I'm
I'm so
pumped. That
excited to
sounds
see
amazing.
that. Yeah. Oh,
We
it's
talked last
amazing.
episode about the idea um, of a like the dirty side of a rebellion,
Mhm.
and I just love that idea. I love the idea of the nuance of the good guy versus bad guy binary being like exposed. You
Mhm.
know, the not that like the emperor has any. I don't want to give him any room to be nuanced and loved. I'm saying like one of the reasons I loved the Finn storyline in Force Awakens is because it gave a face to the stormtroopers, who we always just think of as like mindless menaces,
Definitely.
and it gives a face to like, oh no, remember Luke was going to go in the academy. Like these are kids with hopes and dreams
Yeah.
that think they're doing the right thing, um, or just like need to make a life for themselves, or they're kidnapped like Finn.
Mhm.
And so that's I love that kind of stuff, and to see it from the rebellion side would be really interesting. How much Cassian Andor is involved in like the inner workings of the rebellion
Yeah.
will be interesting to see. But Mon Mothma does look like she's going to be a big part of the show. So.
Yeah, I read in the Vanity Fair article that her storyline will be running 2 and 2 with Cassian. So we might get like interjections, like the action, the huge action, and then there's gonna be some politics, which I'm excited for the politics part. The action, and that's Star Wars, but I just want to hear some good old fashioned politics and some treaty disputes and just trade regulations. I love that stuff. It builds
Me
it
too.
builds the world. It builds the
Did
world.
Did you read the part in the story? I'm sorry if I'm stepping on your
Oh,
um,
step all over.
news dump here. Did you read that there's going to be 211 speaking parts in Andor?
Really?
Just for the parts of the series they have mapped out, which is probably the first like season and a half.
No.
They have 211 speaking parts, and
Wow.
yeah, and Tony Gilroy said that 75 there are 75 characters that like are important in the show.
Jesus, it's like Game of Thrones all over again.
I know.
I hope this gets the
Oh,
hype
no.
Game of Thrones has.
Well, it lacks some of
not
the
at the
qualities of
end,
Game of Thrones.
but like the House of the Dragon coming out on HBO, that has huge hype surrounding it, and um, just give me Game of Thrones season 1 through 5 vibes, and I'm all in. I'm all
politics.
in. Yeah, get that Septa Baelor exploding in. Get that
1
in
through
there.
4. I say 1 through 4. Once
Really?
Tywin went,
That's
it
true.
was the politics weren't as fun to me
That's
because you
true.
didn't have the big powerhouse.
It became like a grab for power even more than it usually is. And,
right.
Yeah.
You got to have the powerhouse, like the Empire. Like, you have the Lannisters, and then you have like the Emperor who is firmly entrenched, and that's the goal: take down the Emperor. Right.
Yeah. Not the.
So
Night
I'm
King.
excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Tony Gilroy does with the Andor series, and just because I love Diego Luna, I've never seen him in a bad role. He's always great, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I'm also excited to talk about the celebration lineup. We could jump right into it. So starting Thursday, May 26th, celebration begins at 11 a.m. Pacific time. I'm probably going to translate this into Central Time, just it's easier for us. So that will be roughly around 1 p.m. for us, and it's the main celebration like intro. So this is what it says from the website. Star Wars Celebration returns, launching with the must-see showcase that will kick this weekend's festivities into hyperdrive. Lucasfilm's current crop of live-action filmmakers will be joined by special guests to discuss the many Star Wars adventures coming soon, including Obi-Wan Kenobi, Andor, and The Mandalorian. So if you are just like a casual Star Wars viewer, like first, why are you listening to this? Uh, yeah,
Yeah, for
yeah.
real.
We do some deep takes on this podcast, but this is the one you need to see. If you're just gonna watch one panel, watch this one. It's probably gonna have the biggest reveals just right off the bat, and then the rest of the time is just gonna be niche things that people want to see, like the music of episode 2. That's the next panel. They're just gonna dive into the music that was created for episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Then that
Because it's the
plays
20th anniversary of that movie.
Yeah, it is, and they have a 20th anniversary panel too. I don't think they're showing the movie, unfortunately, but they're doing something with that. I believe some of the actors are going to come and discuss about everything. But after the music of episode 2, it goes into Lucasfilm Publishing, Stories from a Galaxy Far, Far Away. So this is their book line, their publishing line. Probably just going to talk about their comics and new High Republic books and new books coming out at the end of the summer, because we still have um, The Princess and the Scoundrel coming out in a few months, showing the marriage of Han Solo and Leia.
Brotherhood just came out.
Brotherhood just
That's
came
canon,
out.
right?
Yeah, I read some things about Brotherhood that are spoiled for me, but I don't mind. It sounds really fun. It really gives context to some things that were said during episode 3 between Anakin and Obi-Wan, just like jokingly. It's funny to see those things fleshed out.
We finally get to see the one of the main plot lines of the book. I'm pretty sure is remember when Obi-Wan's like, the business on Cato Nemoidia doesn't count.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's a big part of the book.
We see that happen in the book, or we read that in the book. The next panel is with Ian McDiarmid, the Emperor himself. It's called An Audience with the Emperor.
no.
It's just going to be like a
Get this
Q&A.
man away from Star Wars Celebration. We don't. Last time he showed up, we were all psyched and we were like, "Yeah, Ian McDiarmid, it's been forever. Woo, welcome back!" And then he
Boom.
dropped the worst album of the year.
He did. He fumbled the ball with episode 9, but he's back. It's his redemption year. He's got this. He's good. He's number 1 draft pick this season. He's great. So I believe that it's probably just going to be a Q&A with Ian McDiarmid. Moving on.
Probably.
The next panel on
What's it
Thursday.
like to fry people with electricity? Oh man, it's a delight.
Oh,
You
it's
should
the
really
best.
try it.
It's the best.
Next question.
Next question. We move on to Star Wars
That's
Collectibles
great.
update with Lucasfilm's Brian Merton. Not really sure what this one's going to be about. As I can see, they'll chat about prop replica statues and more. Just for the nerds. The next panel for the day is the High Republic for Light and Life. This is just a deep dive into what they've released for the High Republic so far, and a look in the future for Phase 2 of this book series, which Phase 2, I believe, includes the Acolyte. So we might get some news about the Acolyte right there. But that wraps it up for the day. It's not a long day on Thursday. It's just, the beginning. Friday is when...
More of a kickoff.
Yeah, Friday is when people are going to be there from dusk till dawn. Starting at 11 a.m. Pacific time is the Light and Magic. It's just... It's going to be like a talk about the VFX used on the new Star Wars titles, as we talked about it last week, but that big screen that most of the Mandalorian was filmed on, and most of Kenobi was filmed on as well. Probably
what's it called?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but they used it for all of that. They used it for Dune as well. That's why Dune looks so amazing. But yeah, we talk about that. The next panel is probably one I'm very excited for. It's the summer of Lego Star Wars. They'll talk about some new additions to the Lego Star Wars video game, the Skywalker Saga, that came out last month, which I still play, and I'm only about 50% of the way done. And man, it takes a lot to finish that game, but I'm almost there. This is where they're probably officially release those Lego sets, information on them anyway. So we'll get the information of the set names.
They'll probably publicly apologize for
Exactly
spoiling some of the show.
Well, it hasn't happened yet, so we'll see. Fingers crossed. Going on to the next panel is Lucasfilm Publishing Behind the Page. This is just going to show new books coming out soon. And then one panel you're probably excited for is Star Wars Attack of the Clones 20th Anniversary Celebration. This is just going to show some behind the scenes, never before seen behind the scenes for Attack of the Clones. Then we go to Star Wars merchandise sneak peek. This is the capitalist part of Star Wars Celebration. If it's not all a capitalist heyday.
Oh, it's
Yeah, this is where Disney.
It's all a capitalist heyday.
This is where Disney pushes their parks and their merchandising, which I'm kind of falling into that trap. My girlfriend is going to Disney World in July, and in July they're releasing life-size Camtonos at Galaxy's Edge.
What on earth is that?
It's what remember in the Book of Boba Fett and in the Mandalorian, that big box that the Mandalorian gets all his Beskar in. It's like a safe that the Pikes put a bomb in it and they destroy a Garsa Fwip sanctuary.
Oh yes.
So they have actual Camtonos that open up and close, and they're like $60.
And there's a bomb inside?
Well, hopefully not mine that I get. But you can stuff anything in it. It was first shown in The Empire Strikes Back as a background character. His name is Wilro Hood, as like running on Cloud City with this in his hands. And there's a whole background for Wilro Hood, as every other background character has in Star Wars. But yeah, it's just Disney pushing their parks and their merchandise for a little bit. Same thing with Hasbro's Star Wars panel. They're talking about the new Black Series action figures that are awesome. They're amazing. That will be coming out. Then we get another From a Galaxy Far, Far Away to a Disney park near you. Just more Disney pushing their theme parks. Another panel that I don't mind actually Disney pushing is they're celebrating 35 years of Star Tours, which is probably one of the best rides at Disney. It changes when new movies come out, but you get into this ride. Have you been on Star Tours?
I've never been to Disney World or Galaxy's Edge or anything. Yeah.
Well, let me explain this to you. So you get into this little theater. There's probably about 5 rows of 5 seats, and there's a big screen in front of you, and you are taken on this adventure throughout the galaxy. Whenever The Force Awakens came out, you were riding through Jakku, and then whenever The Rise of Skywalker came out, you were being chased by the First Order. But it's basically,
why does everyone want to go back to
Jakku? It's like 4D basically. It shakes and makes you feel like you're going upside down when you're really just staying in one place. It's such a classic ride that everybody loves. So they're gonna have a celebration of 35 years about that. Moving on to Saturday, May 28th. Starting off the day, we have a panel called Mando Plus, a conversation with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. That is going to be cool to watch. I love those guys. They're the future of Star Wars, and we'll probably hear a lot about the future of Star Wars in that panel. It's those guys, man. Then the next panel, behind the scenes of The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett. Probably much of the same we're going to hear from the previous panel, but this time Robert Rodriguez joins the crew to talk about his Book of Boba Fett's directing, and his heavy inspiration
least favorite director
from Spy Kids.
His Spy Kids 3 Star Wars projects.
Yeah, I live in Austin, and I don't go to the Capitol often, but a few times I go to the Capitol, I am just reminded of Spy Kids 3 because the main climax of that movie takes place in Austin, and you have that big robot like walking over the Capitol.
Does it really?
It does. It weirdly does.
It's been forever since I've seen that movie. It might be never. I'll probably never watch that movie again.
It's so funny. Sorry. It's either Spy Kids 2 or 3, but I just look at the Capitol and I imagine a huge robot behind it every time I look at it, and it really
just know. Dear listener, just know that next time you question one of the choices that's made on Boba Fett, remember that the man who is making the decisions once put George Lopez's face on, was it an eel? Was that what it was?
It was.
He was the.
It was a big electric television thing
But and he tried to kill Shark Boy and Lava Girl
with eels.
Wait, no,
No,
that's not.
Well, you got the electricity.
Same
part,
guy, right?
Yeah.
That's Rodriguez did Shark Boy and Lava Girl, right?
I think he does all of those movies.
My point is, don't trust a man. Yes, Robert Rodriguez. Don't trust a man who makes George Lopez Mr. Electric. Just.
I still have Star Wars on my head, and when you said George Lopez, I thought George Lucas, and I was like, I don't think he was in Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Yeah, but moving on from Robert Rodriguez and his great directing choices, there's a Star Wars cosplay competition. We might see some cool things from that. Next is Star Wars Hunters, which is the new it's a new game coming out. It's like a 4v4 arena combat game. I believe it's on you can play on your phone as well as Nintendo Switch and PlayStation. It looks pretty fun. Going on to the next one is something I'm very excited about. It's Tales of the Jedi. So we don't know much about this, but we do know it's going to be an animated anthology, just shorts from each portion and section of the galaxy. So, like I said last week, we could see Rey after Episode 9, and we could see the High Republic as shorts. We might see in between episodes 4 and 5, or episodes 5 and 6. Just stuff like that. It's going to be animated, so the sky's the limit with that one. We go to the next panel. Doug Chang, one of the big designers at Lucasfilm. This is called Designing the Mandalorian. Probably going to be about designing the Mandalorian. There's nothing too much to get into that.
I don't know. That might be a leap.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see about that. I'm not 100% sure about that, but if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. We go into Marvel Star Wars Comics, which is just the new Star Wars comic run. Nothing too special about that. And the next one is a interview with Anthony Daniels, who plays C-3PO. Probably just another Q&A with Anthony Daniels, but it's charming. He's a great man, and I believe he is one of the only surviving cast members from Episode 4, correct? You have Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, and then everybody else in that little... Alec Guinness is unfortunately dead.
Yeah, Kenny Baker, Alec Guinness... Carrie Fisher. Yeah. Dang.
He's the only non-human companion that's still alive. Don't count BB-8. I don't know if anybody plays BB-8 actually.
I don't think so.
I might be completely wrong, but doesn't what's his face? J.J. Abrams play BB-8? He does the beeps. No, he played Dio in the Rise of Skywalker, that little one-wheel droid. That was J.J. Abrams.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't BB-8.
I was thinking of Babu Frick. I was like, no way.
Babu Frick. That was not Babu Frick. The droid is ready. Hey! Oh man, what a little creature they made. That was such a oh, what a great character.
I gotta go watch that disaster of a movie just for that.
Hey. Yep, the droid is ready. So moving on to Sunday, May 29th. We start off with a look into the Bad Batch Season 2. We don't really know when this is coming out. We don't have really anything about Bad Batch Season 2. So this will probably provide us with a trailer, more news, and a release date. Then we go into Star Wars Visions, a look back at Star Wars Visions, I might say. This was the anime project, kind of anthology series that was produced by Disney Plus and Star Wars. And it was a huge success, if I remember correctly. I loved every single episode that came out of that. So we might get a confirmation of a Season 2, maybe a trailer for a Season 2. And then moving on, probably what a lot of people are wanting to be there for It's Star Wars, The Clone Wars, The Siege of Mandalore screening. So they're taking the last 4 episodes of season 7, putting them all together without a break, and showing it like a movie basically for the crowd.
Dude, I wish I could be there for that.
Yeah, and so not getting too into this, but at the first Star Wars celebration, not the first one, but in 2018 was the last year they stopped queuing for panels, because you used to, if you wanted to get into a panel, you'd show up a day early and camp there, and then pray to God that you that you got into the panel. Now it's all based off of like a lottery system where you enter in the panels you want to go see, and if you're picked for that, that's great. But if you're not, like, you can go into like an overflow room and watch it, or you can watch it online. um, and there's no preferences for like people, because even one of the biggest Star Wars YouTubers, Star Wars Explained, they didn't get into any of the panels this year, and they're going, but they didn't get into any one of these, and they're a huge Star Wars presence on YouTube. So it's just a random lottery, and if you get one screening, that's awesome. But it's thrown up there. So like the people that got into this screening of the Siege of Mandalore, like, they are lucky. I would go buy another lottery ticket if I was them, because that's probably the one of two panels that I would want to see other than the opening panel. Then we get into a behind the scenes of Return of the Jedi. They're going to show like unused creatures and everything like that from Return of the Jedi. And then the closing ceremony, we might see something huge at the closing ceremony. Maybe an announcement for the 2023 Star Wars movie, maybe a trailer, who knows? But this is the last time that Star Wars, can be like, show something huge. And
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna have our before Kenobi takes over. They're gonna have our collective attention.
Oh, there's some thunder.
Yeah, that the thunder that you heard at the beginning of the podcast that was in Austin has made its way about 80 miles southeast to College Station. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we'll start to wrap this up. Just going over some things. We covered Celebration. We're probably gonna at least I am. I'm gonna cover some of the big things coming from Celebration. But I did want to speak about Moses Ingram for just 1 second. This is very important for us, um,
Yeah.
as Star Wars content creators, um,
Human beings.
as human beings as well. Um, so Lucasfilm has already warned Obi-Wan star Moses Ingram about the likely racist reaction from the worst corner of Star Wars fans. Um, it's nothing new to Star Wars, unfortunately. We saw this with John Boyega and Kelly Marie Tran, the backlash they had for Episode 7 and Episode 8, and just putting this out there. We don't stand for any of that. These characters are amazing. If not well written, they're still human beings, and we have to respect them. And as people, it's just crazy. It's embarrassing to be a Star Wars fan sometimes when there's so much hate for someone just because of their race. And we haven't even seen her play Reva yet, and people are hating on her because she's black. And honestly, like I said before, it has me embarrassed to be a Star Wars fan.
Yeah. Yeah, I second that. I thought Finn was one of the most interesting characters that has come out of Star Wars in the last 20 years, and he was just raked over the coals for every little thing.
Yep.
Now, it's not his fault, some of the writing decisions that were made, but yeah, but on Disney, I think to their discredit, phased he and Rose out pretty much.
Yeah.
After Episode 8, they got all that backlash. In Episode 9, like, Finn and Rose were barely in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Finn had a role, but it wasn't like he was just kind of the sidekick,
Yeah.
And it's just it's kind of like they cow down to all the trolls online.
Yeah.
So I just we both would hope that that would not be the case with Kenobi. I think Disney's learned their lesson with that.
Mm-hmm.
4 years make a big difference,
Yeah.
and we're about to see Reva, who I think is gonna be an awesome character. Moses Ingram looks like, this is supposed to be like a really awesome Inquisitor,
Mm-hmm.
that Kenobi is running from and hiding from. Like she looks like she can handle that.
Yeah.
She looks great. So I just everything we've seen in the trailer, I don't like. There shouldn't be any reason to criticize her before we've seen the show. It's ridiculous and kind of
Exactly.
shows
And
people's
all hate
hearts.
will be
So
ignored because that's just insane. And to your credit, and to Lucasfilm's credit as well, Ingram reported that Lucasfilm got in front of this. They warned her that this will happen, and Deborah Chow, the director, um, put in proper systems while filming to make all the actors feel safe when they work. So, and Lucasfilm also said that they're here to help her and any of the other cast members who experience hate just because some out of things they cannot control. They're there to help them, and they can do whatever they need to do to get in front of the situation and not have another John Boyega and Kelly Marie Tran. Which to me it feels like they're just covering their own butts, but at the same time, a little sliver of me hopes that they're just decent people that want to protect their their workers. But
no,
we'll have to see
yeah,
how this goes.
different teams work on this show than the teams that worked on episode 8 and episode 9. So I think that they have a little bit different idea of what to expect from Star Wars fans. I think that was kind of surprising, but maybe it shouldn't have been what happened after episode 8.
Mhm.
But just the online discourse is going to get ugly if there's any sort of controversy with Reva, like, I don't know what I'm making this up, but like, what if Reva and Uncle Owen get into a fight?
Yeah.
People are gonna use that as like an excuse to go after Reva. It'd be like, Uncle Owen would never fight an Inquisitor, and then they would use that as like an excuse to be awful to Moses Ingram. So that kind of thing. I don't know. I just made that up, but you could see that happening. So we're concerned, but hopefully Star Wars fans behave themselves.
Yeah, well, it's a lot to ask. There's even a sect of Star Wars. I don't even call them fans. People who watch Star Wars and criticize everything about it. They're called the fandom menace, and it's just a bad blot of ink on this beautiful community that Star Wars has of all religions and creeds and orientations and everything. Like, you don't have to be a certain someone to love Star Wars. You can be anyone and love Star Wars. That's the one thing great about it, because we reflect the galaxy that is shown in these movies. And I think that's awesome. But if it happens,
except for
it
Rhodians,
except for Rhodians,
I haven't seen a Rhodian walking around yet.
Well, you've been to Walmart in the past few days or so. They got some weird people at Walmart. Well, a more lighthearted note. I'm gonna try to end it on a lighthearted note. I just found this out today. I didn't tell Ethan about this, so hopefully this is I'll get a funny, genuine reaction. But during like an interview with Ewan McGregor, they were talking about the new technologies that they had for Obi-Wan Kenobi that weren't available to them during episode 2. And during episode 2, they used these huge cameras that just came out. And apparently, the noise from the cameras was so loud during filming that none of the dialogue they had filmed during their scenes could be used. So they had to basically wipe all the dialogue from Attack of the Clones, and each actor re-recorded their lines watching the movie. So it's fully ADR'd.
No.
So if you watch Attack of the Clones, and you see someone's like lips not really syncing up to what they're saying, it's because
that's awful.
The actors had to recite the whole entire script. And I haven't yet, but I'm gonna watch episode 2 and keep an eye out for those things. Of course, the non-human characters like Yoda, that doesn't really matter. But if you see like Padme, like telling Anakin, my goodness, how you've grown, you can probably see like
Yeah.
a slight fluctuation of like her mouth not adding up, and that might add to the awkwardness of the movie. Who knows?
Well, and there's ways to get around that. We talked about that with Book of Boba, that filming from behind or whatever. They probably had different angles that they used.
Mm-hmm.
Probably had less close up
Yeah.
dialogue. Because I'm sure Lucas made sure that they had their butts covered and they had 10 different angles of everything.
Yeah.
So,
So basically, as like homework for this podcast, I implore you to please watch some scenes from episode 2, and see if you can spot some really funny dialogue, and if you see people's like mouths moving without anything coming out of it, you probably know why now. Yeah, that's basically that wraps up this podcast. We won't have another podcast come out until after Kenobi and after Celebration. It'll probably just be me because Ethan's getting married on Monday. So I might have to
yeah.
throw some of this weight on my
We'll-
shoulders and kind of get all this content flowing, which I don't mind at all. I
We'll
want
try
him
and
to,
record.
yeah,
We'll try and record a Kenobi reaction pod to the first couple episodes, but because those come out Friday morning,
mhm.
and I'm off work Friday, so we can get that done. But whenever episode 3 comes out, I'm assuming the next Friday after that, I will be somewhere on the beaches of Jamaica with my bride.
And so Ethan will definitely not be on the podcast.
No, I will not.
So we'll I'll make up something. We'll figure out something to do. It'll be fun. Maybe we'll ADR a another Kenobi episode or something. I'll do all the voices for the first episode of Kenobi, and we'll see how that goes.
Make sure you guys are checking out the YouTube page, and the Twitter page. The handle is at Kessel Rundown. I'm sure we'll be posting on there periodically, and Hunter's got the YouTube magic fingers. He'll put something up. So
yep,
we'll get this thing rolling.
A lot
We're
of stuff
excited
is
for Kenobi.
coming. Before we wrap it up, do you have any predictions for Kenobi? Any predictions for this first episode? Any surprise characters you think are going to show up? Surprise cameos? Because I have one.
What's Jar Jar doing?
Like that's what I was going to say. What if Jar Jar shows up? I hope so.
I don't know. I'm thinking a general Tatooine kind of basic overview.
Greedo, probably.
I actually think they might start out on a different planet in this one. A non-Tatooine start. Just the first half of the first episode. Just because we spent a lot of time in Tatooine during Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, we did.
So
we're Tatooined out.
Yeah, I'm a little tapped out. So yeah. I think I could do without the dual suns for a little bit longer. So hopefully they give us an episode just off world and we get to see more of the universe.
Yeah, I have a prediction for episode 1. Hopefully it starts with a flashback, and it'd be cool to see Obi-Wan wake up, like maybe a flashback of Order 66, and then Obi-Wan wakes up in like a pool of sweat. He's like, "Oh, I'm here now." But no, that's just, we'll get into that later in our breakdown. But thank you so much for watching this episode of the Kessel Rundown podcast. This was episode 7. Episode 8 will be coming out very shortly. I've been Hunter. That's been Ethan. Thank y'all so much for listening, and may the Force be with you.